She was on The View yesterday, being universally praised in the left-wing press, but how amazing and powerful she was, which are words you never hear about Kamala Harris. Here she is talking about her feelings about Trump winning. Soundbite one.
Now, are you scared, first of all, what could happen if Trump ever became, God forbid, president again? And what are you going to do to stop the crazies?
I am scared as heck.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm traveling our country. There's an old saying that there are only two ways to run for office, either without an opponent or scared. So on all of those points, yes, we should all be scared. We don't run away from something when we're scared. We fight back against it. We have to earn the reelect, and we have to communicate what we have achieved.
Yes.
We've done a lot of good work. We need to let people know who brung it to them.
Yeah.
Just in case you're wondering, here she is over on ABC that same day or the next day with a very similar message. Take a listen, Sot 6.
You've been confident, your campaign has been confident. Some are concerned you all may be a little too confident. And why not go out and attack Donald Trump, go after his legal challenges? What are you guys waiting for?
Well, let me just tell you something. I am of the school that you either run without an opponent or you run scared.
Oh my God. She went on, I think, in that same soundbite to say the thing about brung you. These are lines. A lot of politicians use lines, but it's not because they have to. That's the thing with her. When she gets off script, you're right. It's always word salad or inanity. You called our attention to this clip, and I think it's a great example of what we're talking. This should have been a home run. If you could be a superhero, what power would you like to have? Like, what would be your favorite power? Right? I mean, like, I'd love to fly. It'd be so cool.
Marvel stars has asked this question.
She was what?
She was in a Zoom with all the Marvel stars, and she's asked this simple question.
Okay, so this is a no-brainer. And so it's incredibly foreseeable you'll be asked that in that particular setting. But I mean, pick any of them or anything. I'd like to be invisible. I'd like to be able to see through things. I'd like superhuman strength or speed. Whatever. Pick something. Here's what she said in Sot 11.
Lots of superpowers I would love to have that you all have. But I think that, when we think of the Princess of Wakanda, that incredible sister, Shuri, I think that, the ability to come together and develop new technologies and tackle climate change and invest in, I often say that the ability that we should all have to be able to see what can be unburdened by what has been, right? I think that's such an incredible superpower.
That is her favorite platitude. She always goes there. She doesn't know what to say. She never has anything insightful or profound to offer. That's a great example of it. Climate change hero? Who's that? Which superpower is that?
Yeah, it's almost like she takes her own line, her own superhero line that you did such a great montage of it in a show the other day. It's her favorite line. She really wants it to be her hope and change. It still hasn't caught on, and she keeps using it. In this instance, she tries to shoehorn her unburdened by what has been into a Marvel superhero and then say that that's suddenly her. She's the superhero. And it's funny how dedicated she is to this idea of superheroes, because she wrote a children's book right before she ran for president. And it has a lot of videos of her sitting on this couch telling all these children how they are superheroes. I'm a superhero. You're a superhero. Everybody's a superhero. So it's kind of funny. She'll talk about how she's a nerd, but she really just can't answer a simple nerd question.
We clearly need to see that soundbite again. Her unburdened by what has been nonsense. Here it is, Sot 9.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been. What can 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 be unburdened by what has been.
What we can see, what we believe can be, unburdened by what has been.
What can be
unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
Oh my Lord, I can't.
What a great shot of Bill Clinton sitting there kind of slumped in his chair like, I can't believe I'm listening
And the thing that makes it especially noxious to me is her acting, like unburdened by what has been, like she's just thought of it. She's going to take you there. She doesn't have it. She doesn't have it, the it factor, the thing that penetrates the lens, the thing that makes people want to listen to you, that makes you a dynamic speaker. She thinks she's Rush Limbaugh. She's not. It's just, and it's so obvious. So there's a couple of examples. I do think, what is it about her? Is it that she's a simpleton? Because she tries to, quote, explain things to people all the time as though she's talking to a 2-year-old. And look, I talk to my audience about complex things all the time, and I never assume anybody understands, a complex thing. I always give a couple lines of explanation because people are living their lives and they're not following politics day and night like I am. But I don't treat them like they're idiots. I have a respect for my audience's intelligence that they deserve, because I talk to my audience. They call in all the time on SiriusXM. They write in at megynkelly.com. She talks to the people listening to her like she thinks they're on the short bus. Forgive me, but she does. So here is an example of what I'm talking about in SOT 8.
So Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically, that's wrong.
This issue of transportation is fundamentally about just making sure that people have the ability to get where they need to go.
Space is exciting. It spurs our imaginations, and it forces us to ask big questions. Space, it affects us all, and it connects us all.
It gives us a sense of the magnitude of it all.
Earth is kind of small, yeah, right?
The Earth is like a speck compared to the sun.
Yeah, Earth is small. You look through the telescope.
Yeah, there's some other ones where she talks about how hard hats are actually unisex, and one time trying to make a joke and nobody laughed. And then there's another incident where she talks about what it was like. She's telling an audience of people connected to NASA what it's like to launch into space, and goes on and climbed into the rocket ship, and they sat down and they put on their helmet and they launched. So she's been through a number of speechwriters. This is not a job that too many people want. And I sort of outlined that in a chapter of the book, talking about her staff overturn and how high it is.
Yes.
But I feel like at one point there was a speechwriter that told her, bring it down to the simplest terms and then connect with your audience on those terms. I don't think she really got the lesson, because even in her teleprompter speeches, she can't quite make it work. And certainly in roundtables, it's a disaster.
Yeah, so do we think this is those examples? Is that her or is that speechwriters? It doesn't really matter, because in the end, she's the one delivering it. If a speechwriter ever wrote a speech for me as vice president and it read like that, I'd tear it up and I'd fire that person. So it kind of doesn't matter, but I am curious if you know the answer.
Yeah, a big part of it is her. There's been so many stories about how terrible she has been on just even delivering the most scripted lines. There's a lot of stories of people who just quit in frustration, knowing that even that famous interview she did about the border, that one where she talks about how she hasn't been to the border, but she hasn't been to Europe either. That was after significant media training, and they had prepared her to answer that question. And when it came time to answer that question on live television, she came up with her own thing, and it was just totally astonishing.
It's amazing. Like as a politician, I would imagine the Bill Clintons of the world, the Trumps of the world, trust your instincts is a good moniker. Like when you don't know, or thing to remember. If you don't know the answer, trust your instincts. If you're one of those guys, with her, it's exactly the opposite. Whatever your instincts are telling you, do the opposite. Do the George Costanza. Do not trust your instincts. Here she is the other day talking to University of South Carolina women's basketball team. This was just on Monday. Watch this.
When the people are in these stands watching you, be they parents or students or kids, you're lifting them up. When people are out here saying, oh, or they're saying yay, or they're saying all of the things that they say in response to the game, you're lifting them up with a sense of joy about being a part of a community. And we need that.
Oh my God. She just, she doesn't know how to connect with people. What is she saying? You're making the audience feel good when you play well. Duh.
Let me
There's nothing additional in
basketball.
anything she says. Go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, let me explain to you what it's like to be a basketball player. Let me explain what you should be feeling, as well as what you're supposed to be doing. And it's like, no, I don't need you to explain, Kamala. I need you to, pretend I'm actually here and actually thank me for what I do and just move forward and make me feel human when I'm talking to you. And don't give me the kindergarten speech. That's the problem. There's just so many kindergarten speeches where she's looking down at you, trying to explain a concept that kind of everybody knows.
Right. All I feel is insulted. My intelligence is insulted. I'm bored by you. I'm offended by you. True or false? Using your tax refund to pay off credit card debt is smart. False. Donewithdebt.com published a strategy designed to let you keep your hard-earned tax refund and reduce or eliminate credit card debt. Doesn't that sound better? Most Americans owe thousands in credit card debt. That'll take years to pay off. Been there, if you ever do it. Done with Debt found that filing bankruptcy is usually not the answer, and taking out loans to pay off those credit cards usually increases debt. When you engage Done with Debt, their legal experts and skilled negotiators take on the credit card companies for you. Their winning strategies are designed with one goal: solve your debt situation quickly and permanently. First things first, though, chat with a Done with Debt strategist and explore your solutions. Some debt fighting strategies are time sensitive, so you're going to need to move quickly on this one. For a free consultation, visit donewithdebt.com. That's donewithdebt.com. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.